We're live, baby, live. It's day 4 of the 2020 31 Nights of Horror Games. This is our 11th year in a row doing something every day for Halloween in October.
Is it really?
Yeah. In 2010, we did the Twilight
Articles.
Zone.
That was the
about
Twilight Zone,
episodes. So our 10th year in a row doing something about video games, our 11th year overall. And this is Master of Darkness for the Sega Master System, which is a really good Castlevania clone. That was released in the US. It was
surprisingly good.
Yeah. You played the Game Gear version on stream.
I played the Game Gear last year or 2 years ago or something like that.
Yeah. I played through this entire game on an emulator in my old bedroom at my parents' house in 2013 to do a video about it. And because all my vintage games were all bundled up and in my parents' garage because I was waiting to move to DC, and so I played the whole thing through on Kega Fusion. And you can record video directly from Kega Fusion, which is cool, but it's a super high quality video, and it's like it takes up a ton of space when you export it. But yeah, so you play as Dr. Ferdinand Social, who is hunting Jack the Ripper and Dracula. Jack the Ripper as a means to Dracula, as it will turn out.
Social learned that at the Thames River, horrible events beyond our imagination had occurred. Thank God he has his magic Ouija board.
That's right.
And his knife.
Yes. I'm not sticking with his knife for very long, as you can see already, probably. This game is different than your typical Castlevania because the way that the sub-weapons and the normal weapons both work. So there are 4 weapons that Dr. Social can utilize. Also, going down the stairs is more of a pain in the ass. There are 4 weapons at Dr. Social's disposal, 4 main weapons.
North, south, east, and west.
Yes. There's the knife, which is the default, which is awful. And then there's the cane, which is my preferred weapon and what I've got right now, which has like a very good midway point between range and power. There's a rapier, which is faster than the cane, but weaker. And then there's the axe, which has bad range, but is the strongest of all the weapons. And so, and then as far as the sub-weapons go, there's no ammo for the sub-weapons separately from the sub-weapon icons themselves. There's a handful of sub-weapons, but each time you collect one of the icons for a sub-weapon, you just get ammo for that particular sub-weapon, and you can stack them. Like that gun I just got has 16 bullets. And if I collect another one of those icons, I'll get 16 more bullets. But much like the dagger in Castlevania, the gun is the most absolutely worthless sub-weapon in this game.
I mean, guns don't work on supernatural entities.
Well, they work on werewolves if they're loaded with silver bullets. But, yeah.
Also, your stream is like super chunky and wild and glitched out in a way that I really like, but I feel is maybe not authentic to the way that the game actually looks and runs.
That is wild. I am noticing that as well.
I don't know if it's coming through on your video capture or if it's the...
It's coming through. Well, let me check OBS. Yeah, it's wilding out. What the hell's going on, OBS?
I don't know. I've never seen anything quite like that before, but it's really cool.
Did it just start doing that?
It took me a minute to load up the stream, but it has been from the time that I've been watching it. Also, you may want to just tweak your mic up a little bit, because I think I'm louder than you. But yeah, this game is really surprisingly good. Because there's not a lot of really good masters. Like, throw a dart at a master game of list of Master System game lists, chances are you're gonna hit something that's not very good.
Great.
Um, which is, I guess, kind of true of a lot of games of that era. But
my capture card here and see if that makes a difference.
the Master System library is rough, and this game is actually the Game Gear version is actually surprisingly decent as well. Which that's really saying something because most Game Gear games are pretty much unplayable garbage. Although I played it on an emulator, which makes pretty much every Game Gear game a lot more palatable. One moment, please. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter how good the game is when you're playing on the Game Gear screen. It's
I think that did the trick.
Is it better?
Well, give it a second, then you tell me. It looks like it.
There we go. Looks alright to me.
I have no idea what caused that.
I don't know. This technology is amazing and also just weird sometimes.
Yeah.
Rhino Nar says, "Hey Joe," and says better. So I guess it's better. Smoke Monster says, "Watch out for snakes."
Always.
Keep that head on a swivel. Watch where you be stepping.
Yeah, will do.
Smoke Monster also says, "Joe, turn up your mic."
Okay. It's up. I mean, it's up about as high as it'll go, so I think I'm gonna have to mess with the game in a second.
You were quiet earlier, but I had to turn you up in OBS, but I thought it might have been something on my end. Because I unhooked my computer while I was on vacation. And took some of the hard drives out and brought them with me. What version of the box art is this? What language is that?
This is the European box art.
Okay. Is it Spanish, maybe? Or Italian or something? Oh, it's like a bunch of different languages, I see. Makes a lot more sense when I look at it that way.
I think the solution for now is gonna have to be to turn down the game audio and turn you down a little bit because there's a like a add-ons thing somewhere in OBS that I've used to turn up the gain on my mic, but I can't find the setting right this moment, and I don't want to mess around with it.
It's I don't know, I don't remember offhand. Because I always have to turn mine up also. Someday I think I'm just gonna break down and spend like $70 on a cheap ass mixer to plug my microphone and the game audio into, just so I can not have to fuck around with the OBS stuff, which never seems to work very well. Yeah. You right click on the little gear thing and go to oh no, none of those are working. I can't find it either. Advanced audio properties, and then you can go and futz with the gain. But
where is it?
If you right-click on your mic thing and then go to Advanced Audio Properties, that's where you can boost your different things. You just tick it up a couple, probably be alright. Rhino 14 says, do you like Goosebumps TV show or book? I read a lot of those books. Those books were
tell me if that's
like
better.
a
I
little
just bumped
bit...
it up one decibel.
Alright. I can check it out.
I read, so I didn't watch the TV show, but I did read some of the books when I was a kid. But I think the problem was, for me, like, I was the right age for those, for the books. Like a lot of my friends read a lot of them. They were very popular. But I was reading, like I've always been a reader. So damn it, I did not want to get that. So I was reading like novels that were a little bit more advanced than that by the time those were popular. So I didn't read very many of them.
Yeah, that's how I felt too. Like, they felt like I was maybe like 2 or 3 years too old.
Yeah.
When they were popular. My brother was way into them because he was 5 years younger than me. And they were one of the most popular things in the world at that time.
They continued to be popular. Wow. Okay. That's I'm downgrading my weapon constantly, so that's part of the problem with this game versus Castlevania. Castlevania, you get the whip power up, and then your whip is powered up. Even though the whip power up is kind of pointless because you always get one right away, and then the second one, like, 10 seconds later, and so it's just like, why even bother? But this game, you can basically effectively downgrade your weapon by accidentally picking up an icon for a weapon that you didn't really want. But yeah, the TV show, I was more of an Are You Afraid of the Dark kid when it came to, horror for children. Like, I don't remember watching the Goosebumps TV series at all.
I feel like that was more recent than that, but maybe there was an older Goosebumps TV show.
I feel like they were somewhat contemporaneous, but I guess I don't know the exact dates. I know that people in my age demographic, near as I can tell, like, have made videos. Like, I know Pushing Up Roses has made videos about episodes of the Goosebumps TV show, as though she was the proper age to be watching those. So I assume it was on around the time
95 to 98.
95, I was 12 for most of 95, so that does feel about right, I guess, but I don't remember watching it. I was watching Are You Afraid of the Dark for sure, though. When was Are You Afraid of the Dark on? Now I want to know.
I don't know. Well, that was earlier than that, I think.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, I think, like, I was just watching Twilight Zone at that
right. I discovered the Twilight Zone by the time I was 12, for sure.
Are You Afraid of the Dark was on 90 to 2000.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, yeah.
There was also a show called Erie, Indiana that was on for a couple seasons that I watched. That was kind of like kids' Twilight Zone, but like, I don't know, my dad liked a lot of old Twilight Zone stuff, so that was what. And plus, like, there was just other stuff on. There was a lot of competition in that time slot, I think.
Yeah. Well, Are You Afraid of the Dark was part of SNCC, right? And
right, which I didn't have that. I did not have cable at that age, so that was not on the table.
Yeah, I did, and so that was, just, it was like the original run of SNCC was like Ren and Stimpy, Roundhouse, Clarissa, and Are You Afraid of the Dark? So I was definitely, into that. Maybe that was destination TV for, 9-year-old Joe or whatever. But Are You Afraid of the Dark and Twilight Zone are both some of the things that kind of eased me into horror. Like, I think I've talked about this before, but surprisingly, given like how much I love horror now, like I was a huge baby about horror when I was little. I was afraid of my own shadow. And my fascination started with things like the Twilight Zone, which is like, I mean, some of those episodes definitely scared me. There's an episode of Alfred Hitchcock Presents that takes place in a wax museum that scared the bejesus out of me. that was on Nick at Night, you know, when I was like that age, whenever, 9-10 years old or whatever, and I saw that, and it scared the hell out of me. And some of the Twilight Zone episodes even were like, but it, TV was so different when the Twilight Zone was new that by the time I watched it as a kid, it wasn't that scary. You wish to hinder me? Yes, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to hinder you, actually. I'm going to give you a hinder binder, Jack the Ripper. And pull your underwear up over the back of your head. And there's nothing you can do about it. So you can see the axe weapon, again, the range is garbage, but it does just a ton of damage. Yeah, so Twilight Zone, like I remember there was a double VHS set that the local video store had called Treasures of the Twilight Zone, which was basically like a best of and some like the kind of things that are now like Blu-ray extras on the Twilight Zone Blu-rays that I have now. It was like the Rod Serling interview on the Mike Wallace show and or whatever talk show it was. This is the reveal that Jack the Ripper is an agent of Dracula. So but it had some of the sort of all-time great Twilight Zone episodes, and one of the not-so-great ones, but it was one that was considered the lost episode, because it wasn't shown in syndication. It's an episode called The Encounter with George Takei, and it's, like, kind of weirdly racist, which is why it wasn't really shown in syndication for a long time. Where, like, George Takei is this... he's like this is one of his very early roles. He is playing a odd jobsman, type of role, and the guy he's going to help out and do some odd jobs is a World War II vet, and there's some racial epithets in that episode, and it's a weird episode, and that was on there, but like it was, other than that, it was all like really good classic episodes, like the Masks and the Howling Man and Eye of the Beholder, which like people now talk about like, oh, it's so obvious, and I'm like, man, when I was like 9 years old or however old I was when I first saw Eye of the Beholder, I 100% did not notice that nobody else's face had been shown in that whole episode. So when they take the bandages off and she's a beautiful woman, my mind was blown as a child. So yeah, so it was that stuff was sort of my entry into horror, which eventually, and then like the Evil Dead movies and Army of Darkness, like because they were, so they were comedy, that they were a big thing that got, which is, I mean, Evil Dead 2 is still probably my favorite horror movie of all time, so that's
one of the few perfect films that we have.
That's true. That's very true.
Ryan Renard says the Haunting Hour series is very good, which I think that was the new Goosebumps thing.
That was the other
which I didn't see.
TV series.
And Ryan Renard wants to know if you have a copy of the Twilight Zone movie.
I don't own the movie. The movie's very hit or miss. Yeah. So it's got some like not great history involved with it, right? The whole thing with the segment, the John Landis directed segment. But yeah, I mean, I think that like the Joe Dante version of It's a Good Life is really good. I think that the George Miller version of what episode is it? A Nightmare at 30,000 Feet or whatever.
Yeah.
With John Lithgow is in the William Shatner role is really good and fun.
Yep.
And the wraparound segment with Dan Aykroyd and who is Alfred Brooks is pretty fun as well. The only really weak parts of that movie, like that movie gets a lot of shit, and the only really really weak segment is the Steven Spielberg version of Kick the Can, which that's kind of a shit episode anyways. Like Twilight Zone's my favorite TV show, but that episode is not great, and Spielberg's take on it is sort of like extra. It's just
Saccharine.
very. It's very. I was gonna say schmaltzy, but saccharin's a good word for it.
Fair.
I mean, Scatman Crothers is great and everything, but it just doesn't work for me at all. And it's sort of the lead segment aside from the wraparound bits, and it doesn't get there for me. But I think that movie takes more shit than it really deserves from a lot of Twilight Zone fans. It's fine.
Hey Joe, did you turn up your mic?
I did, as a matter of fact.
It's good.
Good looking out, though, Mike.
Wow, this game is heavily inspired by Castlevania, huh?
Yeah.
Pays homage to,
might go so far as to say it is the Sega's answer to... Which, I mean, Sega did that a lot, right? Like, Golden Axe Warrior is very, very, very blatant Zelda clone. They were doing what they had to do to... But I mean, I like this game more than Simon's Quest. I'll just say that.
It's not a high bar, but
it's not.
Yeah, this game is actually good.
This is a good game. I like this game a lot. This is probably my favorite Master System game, if I'm being honest.
Again, not a high bar, but
no, there's more good on the platform in Europe. This is a European only for the Master System. It was on the Game Gear in the US, as we mentioned. Fucked up not getting that extra life. But yeah, I don't know. Eric, how did you go from R.L. Stine to Maniac Cop sequels as a child?
I mean, so I had an uncle. My uncle Dave was way into horror movies, and
Is he
then
the same uncle who lent you Black Sabbath records when you were a kid and stuff?
No. That was my Uncle Scott, who was only a few years older than me, that was more into like that kind of stuff. But so my Uncle Dave he would bring horror movies over to my grandmother's house. We would like all go over there on Sundays and eat dinner and whatever. And he would take a lot of movies over there. And then I also would hang out at the neighbor's house, and the girl that lived there she's like 5 or 6 years older than I am. And her mother really liked horror movies, so I saw a lot of shit when I was young that I probably really shouldn't have. I've definitely told the story before about how it took, like, I could never, and I still don't, like to swim in lakes and ponds because of the tar blob episode of Creepshow 2. Yeah. And so I saw, like pretty much just about, I mean, I fucking watched Creepshow 2 when I was, like, 6, so I was, like... that one I remember. That one I have real specific memories of, and the what's the werewolf movie?
The Howling.
No, not the Howling. The kind of like campier one with Corey Haim or Corey Hart and those guys.
Are you thinking of the Lost Boys? That's a vampire movie. But...
Yeah, isn't there? Is that the one where doesn't one of them kind of turn into a werewolf thing?
I mean, their faces get all weird when they
maybe
go
that's
vampire,
what I'm thinking
but,
of.
Yeah.
No, I'm not thinking of Lost Boys. I'm thinking of... I can't remember what's called. Sorry. It's a really good movie. It's like the kids are exploring like a mansion in town. Fright Night.
Oh, that's also a vampire movie, but sure.
Yeah. Yeah, but that has a werewolf in it. And that's the thing specifically that gave me nightmares for a really long time. As like doesn't one of the guy kind of turn into like a werewolf thing?
It's
one of the guy characters
really
has a
long
wolf
time.
form, I believe.
I should watch that. That's a movie I should put on my list for this October because I haven't watched Fright Night. One of the all-time great VHS box arts, though, for sure. Fright Night.
But whatever. I saw a bunch of movies like that when I was really young, and then had really like they really scared me for a long time, and then I didn't get back into horror stuff until I was in my mid to late teens probably. But like the Twilight Zone or whatever, that never scared me like horror movies did. And then basically like you, I think I caught Army of Darkness on the Sci-Fi Channel when we got cable in the late 90s, and then it was like I need more of whatever
this is. I want more of it. Yeah.
And then worked my way backwards through all that stuff, but to Evil Dead and Evil Dead 1, and then that kind of unlocked the door for all the other hot shit garbage 80s horror movies that I like.
Yeah. And Mike, you're a big Frady cat, right? Still?
Mm-hmm.
Is that just games, or does that cross over to movies too?
I would say it's more movies than games. So the thing that I really don't like is gore. I don't have as much trouble with like suspense, but I don't like seeing gross bits. And I think movies are much better at delivering really gross stuff than games are. I find that games just have trouble with that level of fidelity. Like you can go to the grocery store.
Corny and campy when pretty much it's like most video games, gore is kind of like corny and campy.
And it's not as realistic. Like you can go to the grocery store and buy 10 pounds worth of meat and make a really gross horror movie effect out of it. And in a video game, they can spend thousands of hours trying to animate stuff, and it just doesn't look like actual flesh.
I mean, I feel like Megan was a little distressed when I was playing Resident Evil 2, the Resident Evil 2 remake, and the G babies that are in the sewer. She was like, whoa, that's fucking super gross. And I was like, I mean, it's, you know.
I haven't played Resident Evil 2 Remake, but actually I would like to at some point.
It's real good.
It's really good, yeah. Oh, wow. Alright, so, I just wanted to say that I'm playing that Genshin Impact game, and you can like cast I fight a fire blob, and I used a wind skill on him, and he set some grass on fire because the wind pushed the fire around, and then I used my ultimate wind skill, which is a tornado, and then it hits the fire and then turns into a fire tornado. So
Sick.
This game seems pretty alright.
That seems pretty good.
Fire tornado.
Let's see here. MK says until Castlevania Bloodlines, this was probably the closest thing to Castlevania on Sega. Yes, true. Random says Dead Zone is an underrated horror movie from 1983.
I feel like people like Dead Zone.
Yeah, who directed that? I feel like someone like well-known directed that movie.
David Cronenberg.
Was that a Cronenberg?
Pretty sure.
I was going to say that, and I wasn't sure. I didn't want to...
I don't know.
It's one
I
of
can
his
look it up real
less
quick.
gross movies, though. In terms of
no, it's not.
Mike, how can you be a gore-averse? David Cronenberg is one of your national treasures up there.
Sure.
All of the greatest,
You know, like The Fly, or
the greatest body horror films.
Man, I don't dare watch The Fly just based on the descriptions people have made of some of the scenes in that movie.
did you ever see the weird flesh ports and
Existence.
in Existence? Yeah,
That's
Nope.
less. There's a little less body
A
horror
little less
there, but yeah,
gross.
that's
more weird.
That's more weird. Yeah, the weird controller port Jennifer Jason Leigh has in her spine.
yeah.
Oof, didn't want to pick that up. Or like that. Yeah, Cronenberg is. I guess they're remaking Rabid, which seems like a thing that seems fairly unnecessary in my view, but
Is it gonna star the Rabbids?
that's the only way it could be good.
Are they raving?
I hope so. I wouldn't want them any other way.
That's right. Or, well, actually, I guess Videodrome is kind of his magnum opus. I feel like most people at this point think History of Violence is probably
That's
because that was
nonsense.
the most mainstream trading thing that he did.
That movie's all right, but
I like that movie, but Videodrome is just so fucking weird.
I mean, just listen.
James Woods with the chest.
There's a run where he put out Scanners, Videodrome, The Dead Zone, and The Fly, and that's kind of not like that's kind of unfuckwithable, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you like whatever Naked Lunch or Dead Ringers or whatever, but then there's Crash and Existence in the late '90s, which is pretty good comeback there.
Yeah, what did I just?
Naked Lunch. I can think of at least 2 things wrong with that title.
I think I just saw that Crash is getting like a Blu-ray re-release from Vinegar Syndrome or whoever, Scream Factory, somebody. That is a fucking movie, man. Mike, if you ever wanted to watch a movie about a bunch of people who get sexually turned on by car crashes,
Hell yeah.
that's the movie for you.
Mm.
It's the good Crash.
It's the good Crash, that's right.
It's the one that should have won an award.
Yeah.
It's probably the best movie that came out in
James Spader
1996, right?
Climaxing during car crashes.
What are the other best movies in 1996?
Can't think of what else came out in 1996, so...
I'm gonna look it up right now. Best movies, 1996.
I don't mind these sequences of having to fight all the enemies dropping in, but that fucking alert sound that gets played while you do it is super fucking annoying.
Oh, I don't know, this is pretty tough.
96?
Fargo came out in 96.
I would have said 95, but yeah, okay. But
This is such a weird, the way that Google organizes things is so weird sometimes.
true.
It's like, Time to Kill, Fargo, The Frighteners, The Edge, Primal Fear, Matilda, Down Periscope. Like, what the fuck's happening? Multiplicity, Mars Attacks,
I mean,
Romeo and Juliet in Daylight. Like, I don't. That's a really weird. So From
wonder
Dusk
how
Till
it-
Dawn came out in '96. Fargo. Jerry Maguire in Mission Impossible.
I mean, only one of those movies has a dude getting stuck in
I
a
thought you
wood
said
chipper.
Jerry Maguire in Mission Impossible.
Yeah, I mean, he
that's
kind of
technically
is,
true,
right?
Yeah.
Scream, The Rock. See, like Crash could have won that Oscar that year for best film.
I mean, Crash isn't better than Fargo. Let's rein it in a
So
little
it's
bit.
it's close. It's not. It really isn't. But it's not that far away. I don't. Did Fargo win best movie that year?
No, I think Jerry Maguire did, didn't it?
Probably.
Really? Jerry Maguire?
That movie's pretty good. That's a good movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's fine. I don't know if it's not better than Fargo or Crash or Mission Impossible, but it's fine.
I mean, I could see the Academy not giving it to the sexy car crash.
Braveheart won for '96.
What did?
Braveheart.
Oh yeah.
Braveheart, Apollo 13, Babe, The Postman, and Sense and Sensibility.
Babe with the pig?
Yeah. Oh no, this would have been '95 because that's the year that it took place and not the year of film.
Yeah. See, that's what I was gonna say. I thought-
English Patient, Fargo, Jerry Maguire, Secrets and Lies, and Shine. See, Crash, Secrets and Lies is definitely not as good as Crash.
I don't
And
even
I've never
remember that movie.
seen Shine, but that's probably not as good as Crash either.
Shine is about that dude who's real good at playing the piano,
Yeah, it's about that guy that's good at playing the piano.
and he's autistic, I think, or something, right?
Probably.
So it's about him, like, he's real good at the piano, but it's also, like, really hard for him to, relate to people.
Also, The English Patient is not as good as Fargo. Get that shit the fuck out of here.
Yeah, no, for sure. My mom really liked the book. I don't remember.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's
it's
what won
probably-
that year, right? That's what won.
That was what won, yeah. Man, Fargo is good. Kind of a weak
Like I
year.
said, only one of
honestly.
those movies has someone getting stuffed in a wood chipper, so...
It's only one of these movies has someone having sex in a car during a car crash.
During a car crash. Yeah,
Intentionally.
During the car crash?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that
that's
happens
the
in that
whole
movie.
thing, man.
That's gotta take some timing.
And that Grace Jones song, Warm Leatherette, is based on the novel. Is inspired by the novel that movie is based on. Jones song. There's a Grace Jones
Frances
version.
McDormand did win Best Actress that year for Fargo.
He
So.
fucking deserved it.
At least there's some justice in this world. Recognize and respect Frances McDormand.
Oh yeah.
Anyway.
Rhino says Sling Blade also came out in '96. That's a real fucking good movie too.
Yeah, I don't know. That guy's pretty annoying. I love Billy Bob Thornton, but he's better in the Fargo TV show.
Than he was in Sling
Yeah,
Blade.
in Sling Blade. Yeah.
Okay, let's try not to jump off a building this time. Oh, fuck. Still got the shitty power up though. So, Mike, are you back to Kaizoing it up while we're talking here? Or?
No, and I'm playing something way easier. Gonna do some Hades.
Man, I really need to play that. That feels like it's appropriate for this month. I should play that one of these nights. For this
Sure, I don't know. It's not really very horror-y.
The entire game takes place in hell, Mike. It's
No, it takes place in Hades, which is different than hell.
well, you know, Eric. Some
Very
people,
different.
some
Parts
people
of
call it
Hades do
hell. I
suck
call
a
it
lot,
Hades.
so-
Mhm.
There is that.
There you go.
I mean, I can die in Mario World like 300 times in the time it takes to do one run of Hades, so that game is mathematically 300 times harder.
Is that how that works? I don't know that that's necessarily a one-to-one correlation, but I'll take your word for it. It wasn't one up. I thought it was, but this game is much better at dropping... Oh, fuck that. I was not close enough to pick that bullshit up. This game is much better about dropping...
Crystal?
Yeah, the screen clearing items than Castlevania games are. Like, I just noted the other day when I was playing Rondo, like, Castlevania games have this weird tendency to drop those screen clearing crosses, like, in a place where there's
Nothing but super weak
nothing
enemies,
to-
or
Yeah,
At the very beginning of the first level, for instance.
yeah.
that is kind of weird.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's because you're not actually supposed to use it or enjoy it.
Well, then what's the point of even fucking having it? Like, just don't put it in the game then.
Oh shit.
What?
I don't know, big crazy dragon just flew over.
Is
Oh,
that,
damn.
Is that Genshin or Impact?
I don't know.
They fight crime.
I feel like I'm not gonna finish this boss. Yep, there it goes. You say I have way too shitty a weapon to take this boss on right now. That's better.
Advance to the heart of the forest.
So, I know people have been saying a lot that that's, you know, the gacha version of Breath of the Wild, the free-to-play Breath of the Wild, blah, blah, blah. But how much is it actually like Breath of the Wild? Is it just because it kind of looks
quite-
like Breath of the Wild, or is it actually...
Quite a bit from what I've played so far, honestly. Like, it has, you know, like the climbing and stamina system from Breath of the Wild?
Yes.
Sure
Like,
do.
if there's a wall or some rocks or some shit, you just, like, walk at it and jump, and then you just, like, stick to the wall and climb up it like an ant. Just like Breath of the Wild.
That sounds like what I want.
Does it
Yeah.
rain at the most inopportune possible times? so you
I
slip off
have
it?
not played enough of it to answer that question.
Does it look
I mean,
beautiful?
it's I honestly think it's quite pretty. Like it's kind of generic anime pretty. Like it looks like a high res like PlayStation 2 game or whatever. I compared it to Dark Cloud 2, and that's kind of what I'm feeling from the art style. But I think that's a good art style. Like I don't
Dark Cloud 2 is a good game too. Yeah, very colorful.
Yeah,
I believe it is one of our official 20
best PlayStation 2 games. Probably. I love that game.
I think you're the one who declared it one of our 20 best PS2
Probably
games.
was me, because I have excellent taste in video games.
Well, you're the one who declared that the best PlayStation 2 game ever is Katamari Damacy.
Yeah, and the only because he beat me to it.
Yeah. So
I think
yeah, I don't.
3 out of 4 of us would have made that same decision actually.
Oh, I just picked a carrot and a blue drip drop guy came out. So
I'm much better equipped for this boss fight this time. Much better equipped. More sub weapons. The axe weapon.
yeah, so far I mean this game has like maybe too many like systems of things. There's a lot of stuff in the menu, but I'm liking it so far. But also just I kind of, this is like the sort of genre of game that I like a lot, so, and there's not a lot of them out there.
Yeah.
Wild likes.
Well, not just that, but just like a game where you like
Breath
a
likes.
third-person action game with a big open world for you to explore. Like,
There's not a lot of
Like-
third-person action games with big open worlds.
no,
Isn't that like the most popular genre that exists right
there's a lot
now?
of first-person action. Well, I guess yeah. I see. I don't count the Assassin's Creed games like that because I don't think they're fun to play.
Or God of War,
Like, there's
or
nothing interesting.
Spider-Man, or
Well, there's one new God of War. The old God of War games are definitely not like that.
That's
sure, but
Horizon Zero
Right.
Dawn.
And the new God of War game really isn't like that either. It's more linear. It's not like a big open world for you to explore. At least the parts I played of it anyway. I didn't play that much of it.
and I guess this differentiates itself from like The Witcher because it's less RPG, or
It is kind of like The Witcher, but there's not a lot of games like The Witcher either, right? Like in Far Cry and Assassin's Creed and stuff, it's just like here's a map and then here's the point of interest that's like the thing you do, and this game seems more like go explore or whatever. But I don't, like I said, I haven't played enough of it to make any definitive.
Yeah, I
statements
recently
on
saw
that.
someone saying that, tangentially related to what you were saying about Go Explore. Someone saying that their least favorite thing about Hollow Knight was that you had to find Cornifer in every new section.
Yeah, there's a lot of people.
that's
that
fine. I mean, you could not enjoy one of the best parts of that game. That's fine.
Right, I was going to say that might be my favorite part of the, not my favorite part. My favorite part is just how damn good everything feels in that game. But one of
But
my
the map
favorite
system is
things
awesome,
is having to explore a little bit and sort of figure it out and find Cornifer.
I get why people wouldn't like it. I just think that's too bad for them because it's so cool.
a lot of extra work that most games don't make you do. I think that game would be totally fine if it had a more traditional map system where it just drew the map for you as you walked
It
around.
would just be less good.
I don't know if it would. I don't even know if it would be less good because, like, there are definitely some moments of tension that come from not knowing where you are, or how to get back to where you want to be. But like the things that are good about that game are, well, the combat and just the world design and stuff
I
like
think
that.
Everything is
Cornifer's
good
such a
about that
great
game.
character. He's
Yeah.
like the only upbeat character in the whole game. like,
There's Mira before she goes crazy and starts thinking about killing you.
There's that tall necked lady that stands on the one floor of the building, and
Yeah, but she's already thinking about killing
I was
you.
gonna say she's thinking about eating you from the word go, dude.
what?
When you use the dream nail on
The
her,
giraffe lady?
yeah, when
I
you
thought
use,
you
if you
knew
use the
that,
dream
didn't you?
nail on her, she.
Probably not. I
she-
didn't. I played through that game and finished it and killed the boss, and then never touched. I didn't do any dream nail stuff.
You loved her so much, I assumed you knew that she was trying to eat you the whole time.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Contemplating it.
contemplating it. Yeah. When you use the dream nail on her, you find out that she's thinking about
I don't know. Once I got,
eating you.
once I uncovered most of the map in that game, I didn't want to play it anymore. I needed more fast travel points because I got sick of like running back and forth.
I really didn't
Yeah, I
mind
mean,
it
you
in
do
that
get
game, honestly.
you get the ability to teleport a little bit, which helps a bit with that.
I
But yes,
really loved uncovering the map, but I didn't really want to have to run from one corner of it to the other, like, again. Once I sort of did it.
Isn't there a mission? I feel like someone was talking recently on a message board that there's a thing that I guess I didn't do where you have to like carry a thing across the map and you can't fast travel at all and you get something for it. But I guess I just totally missed that part of the game and never did that.
Part of which game?
sorry, can you say that one more time?
There's some item you have to carry across the map. You can't fast travel. You can't.
In Hollow Knight?
I have literally never done that quest.
What is it? I don't even know. Like I don't
It's
even
a
remember.
it's a
that.
flower. You have to take a flower across the map to put it in someone's grave, but you're not allowed to fast travel and you're not allowed to get hit.
What do you get for doing it? Just the satisfaction.
You get a piece of heart.
Oh, okay. I beat the Radiance without that piece of heart, so I guess I didn't need it. So.
You absolutely don't need it, and I've never done that quest, and I've gotten like 109% in that game. It's just not. It's just too much.
But you could have gotten
work.
110% if you'd gotten that thing. Like,
I don't know if that would give me 1 whole percent.
yeah, I don't know. You could say, I guess.
I'm doing a run in Hades with the sword because it's got bonus purple gems. I'm very bad with the sword. I should probably have just stuck with the bow. I just picked up a boon that makes me kind of vampiric, though. That's kind of cool.
It also drops your health.
Yeah, it drops your health by 60%, but you regain health with every attack, which that sounds really cool. So I'm interested in seeing how that works out for me.
I'm gonna stop playing this and just start playing Hades, I think.
Hades is very good.
Yeah, I did end up restarting that.
Sure. I mean, I don't think it changes much, but
It changes a lot, actually, because
Did it keep
There's a
your
lot of
progress?
before I did.
Did it keep your progress?
so there's a
from
lot
early
of
access version?
stuff that was unlocked from the beginning of the game in the early access version that is not. Like, there's a ton of there was way more options as far as like spending your shade points.
yeah.
Yeah, from the jump in the early access version. I think you would also respec, but now you have that area upgrade thing that you have to do. Like, none of that stuff was in the game, but I think that's probably what the scrying pool does. I think that might have been what that did in the early access version, but I don't think you had to unlock it. I think it was just there.
Scrying pool doesn't seem to do much of anything right now. It just tells you how many times you've tried to leave and how many enemies you've killed.
I don't know. Is there a way to respec in this version?
I don't know. I haven't really felt the need.
something that I did quite a bit. I feel like in the other one.
I mean, at this point, there aren't that many things that I can unlock, so I don't really have a whole lot of respecking
Takes
to do.
takes a lot of keys.
Oh, you're thinking in terms of keys? I don't know.
Well, no, it takes it takes a bunch of keys to unlock the next line of
Yes.
upgrades for your character.
Yeah, I'm at the point where I need 10 keys just to get
Yeah.
the next set unlocked.
Which I don't think that was a thing before, but I could be wrong about that.
I
don't
think
know.
there was. I don't know. Oh man, I'm kind of liking this whole vampire thing. It means I can play really sloppy and
Also-
just bash off stuff.
Joe, when you play, make sure the first thing you buy out of that shop where you spend the black crystals is the second dash.
Yeah, sure.
That's the best one by far. And then I really like the so I know you said last night, Mike, that you don't use the projectiles that much.
It depends. I'm using the sword now, and so I am. But when I'm using the bow, I don't see much need.
Well, so
Isn't
the
bow
need
all
is that
projectiles?
one of the upgrades that you can get makes those do a huge debuff on the enemy defenses, so you do way more damage. And so you can like stack those. So if you like shoot 3 of the crystals into an enemy, then they take like 30% extra damage or whatever.
Okay.
Which
Oh, right. I've got a
That's
couple
really
of levels
good.
in that now.
yeah, like that's where the projectiles are good, no matter what. Like
I know,
even if you don't use them a lot, like they make a lot of the fights a lot easier.
I've got one now that creates a blade rift, which is kind of fun, like a little vortex of pain whenever I send my cast forward.
Yeah,
So that's fun.
yeah, that one's pretty fun. I really like the shotgun ones, especially if they come with a debuff.
Well, they didn't offer me that one, so take what I can get, right?
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying
I'm curious to see how this vampire run goes for me, because being able to get health back, you get 2 health back for every hit, and you hit stuff a lot in this game.
I mean, it depends on what. Some weapons are probably better than others for that.
Right, but with the sword, that's a really fast weapon.
Also, like, Dionysus is in the game now, who I don't think that was in the game last time I played. And one of his thing, I'm playing with the shield, and I have a thing that, like, I forget, it's called, like, Drunken or something, that makes the enemies take damage over time. So it's like a poison build, which is kind of neat.
Yeah, I love those. I love getting Doom, where they get damage after a couple seconds.
Yeah.
I had a really good run where I upgraded Doom bunch.
Ares.
Yeah, Ares. Yep. Oops, I just realized I'm using the Atlas's braid, which gives my cast as much damage. Wait. Oh. I'm really confused. No, I'm using Sisyphus's Shattered Shackle, which gives you a huge damage bonus until you upgrade your attacks, basically.
Oh, yeah.
And then I forgot about that, and then I upgraded my attack. So I should switch off of that if I get a chance. You can switch relics between areas once you've upgraded.
Yeah, it's a thing you can buy, I think. You have to buy it from the, like, area upgrade shop.
Yeah, I have that now. Oh, Ares gonna be mad.
Why would you do?
I picked a boon from Artemis instead. It's one of those rooms where there's 2 gods to choose from.
Do they get mad? Is this like a Telltale game? Like Ares will remember that.
They do get mad, but they forgive you very quickly. Basically what it means is you get 2 boons instead of 1 for completing the room, but it's a harder room.
Here's the prerequisite pendulum clock tower nonsense that has to be in all of these games. So they get mad, but they don't stay mad, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
This is a tough room that I'm in here. I may not be able to pull this one out now that I'm so low on health. You got a bunch of tough enemies, and you've also got the god themselves who's mad at you, who's like kind of adding hazards to the room.
Oh, what a dick.
But then if you beat him, he's just like, oh man, it's all forgiven, and then you get a second boon, so it's pretty sweet if you pull it off. This vampire build is going to encourage me to do a lot of risky play and like go for the harder rooms and things so I can rebuild health, so...
Well, shit.
Are you alright?
I may have just jumped into a pit on accident.
No.
As opposed to on purpose.
Sometimes, you know. I mean,
Sometimes
I was
you gotta
playing
do what you
Rondo
gotta
the other
do.
night, and I was definitely, there was one pit I was jumping into on purpose because it was the alternate path to the stage I wanted to go to.
Yeah, Rondo's so good.
It is.
Were you? Yeah, actually, I asked you this. You were playing that on a PSP 2000 or 3000?
Yeah,
One of them.
whichever one the Kratos one is. I can never remember which model PSP I have, but yes, I was playing on that.
I feel like Joe's Kratos model PSP would be a good like Minutemen song name.
Right up there with a political song for Michael Jackson to sing. There we go. I don't really get. Is this supposed to be cemetery somehow, but like that doesn't make any sense.
Clock tower in a cemetery, probably.
Yeah, as one does. Build a clock tower. In a
Listen,
cemetery.
dead people need to know what time it is too. All right.
Well, do they really?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
My special inflicts doom.
No, it brings Ron Simmons and Butch Reed pop out and help fight whatever enemy you're going after.
You're right, Zagreus. That is good. That's a good.
It's a good tag team.
That's a good tag team joke. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about something Zagreus said while you were playing. I like how smug he gets when you do a really good move.
Yeah, that's what he said. He goes, "That's good," and I read it as Joe was making his Doom joke. Which there was a tag team in WCW, Mike, you see it, and it was called Doom.
The
That a fact.
members were Ron Simmons and Butch Reed.
Yes.
Seriously? Seriously? Wow. That might be it. That might be time to call it a night.
Too much horror for you?
Well, I got to the boss
Yeah.
room, and you
Like,
jump
bounced
off
off
the
the
thing.
thing.
Right, I jumped off of the thing, which is what you're supposed to do. But in the room underneath where I jumped down to, there's a ledge that I just flew off of without knowing that I was going to fly off the ledge and died and lost my last life, which means I had to continue, which sends me all the way back to the beginning of the stage, not just to the last checkpoint.
Yeah.
And so
Awesome.
I'm kind of feeling like that it might be the sign that I was waiting for to tell me it's time to end the stream, because, man, that's some bullshit. But yeah, we'll be back. I also have no idea how long I've been going. Oh, it's been about an hour, so actually, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
I really enjoy how unimpressed Artemis is with you in general. Also. Anyways.
Yeah, I'm gonna play that one of these nights that we're doing this thing that we
Right
do.
now, we can all play Hades.
Yeah. Do you have Hades?
Yeah, I bought it when it was in early access, and I still haven't played it.
Now's the time.
Seems like it. Yeah, I bought it when it was like still $20 on the Epic Store. Right before, I think it was
I
right
want to
before
say I
it went
paid
up.
like $5 American for it because I used one of those coupons.
Yeah, I actually think that's what I did too. I had a coupon that was going to expire, and everybody was like, Hades is real good. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess. Sure, why not?
I got my Rocket League coupon from
Yeah, I still have that
Downloading
hanging
Rocket
out
League.
right now.
good until the end of the month. I gotta find something to spend that on. I don't got to, but
When is it up? The end of the month? End of October?
yeah, it's like November 2nd or something like that.
Okay. We got plenty of time.
If Tony Hawk goes on sale, I think that'll probably be what I go for. It.
Yeah.
This game's fun, man.
I wanted Tony Hawk. So here's the weird thing. Tony Hawk was at the top of my GameFly queue, and Avengers was second. And when I sent back Ghost of Tsushima, I got Avengers, and I was like, that seems weird because it was second on my list behind a game that's been out longer and doesn't seem like it's quite the marquee, blockbuster title that Avengers is. But I got Avengers, so I guess I'm gonna put some time into that before I
Doesn't
play
stuff like
Tony
that
Hawk.
happen a lot? Joe, you're super quiet tonight. I don't know what the deal is.
People have been saying that. I don't know what the deal is with that either, but
Hi.
I turned up my mic in OBS to, but I don't know. Eric and I were lamenting that maybe both of us need to just buy mixers. It's cheap mixing, cheap
Yeah, I
mixing.
know.
I have a mixing board, and it's still kind of a pain.
Yeah, but I feel like Eric, you were saying like $75-ish, and that for a cheap mixing board, and then I could use my nicer mic if I had a mixing board. I have an
I'm not nice enough for you?
Rode mic.
That's harsh.
No,
I got feelings, man.
Do you? Since when? That's news to me, Mike.
But that's basically what I have is like probably $75 to $100 cheapo mixing board, and I just plug a microphone into it, and then I plug that into my computer. But it doesn't actually mix stuff very much. It just gives me a kind of easy way to adjust the microphone volume.
Yeah, I mean,
But I
that's
still
really
do that
isn't
for
much
streaming,
different.
mostly through OBS as opposed to using the mixer.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like my Rode mic would probably give me better sound quality than my Blue Snowball that I use now. But as of right now, I don't have a way to connect my Rode mic to my computer, so.
Oh jeez, that sucked. I'm not good with the sword. Problem, because I'm using the sword.
I like the sword. Like the special is really good. If you can get the knockback, the sword really shines with the Poseidon stuff.
Oh, here you go. Poseidon, your special does more damage and knocks foes away.
There you go. That's good. I mean, the basic attack with the knockback is also very good.
Oh, that's not an option.
Well, I would say then take the other one with the
I already
knockback.
did.
It's good. It's pretty good. I don't. Did you try buying any of the cosmetic stuff in this?
Cosmetic stuff?
Like the decor house.
Oh, not yet, because I keep having useful stuff to spend the gems on, so I haven't gotten around to buying the decorations.
Damn
Like I just got the
useful
stuff that brings fountains to the second and third areas so that you can heal sometimes.
Yeah.
I figure that's more important than changing the color of the floor. Alright, clawed my way back up to full health. I like this vampire thing, man. That's gonna be hard to resist.
Well, for 30 gems, you can put the urns back into the game that drop gold.
Yeah, I've got the cheap ones, but I haven't been doing much with them because I don't feel like hunting down every urn in every level before I leave.
Yeah.
So I take what happens naturally, but
Well, I'm just that was just the way it worked in the game before. You know.
yeah, there's actually a lot more progression that you can unlock than I realized. Oh, Jesus Christ, these fucking wizard people suck. This is like a bullet hell level now. What do I even do?
Alright. I'm done. I'm calling it a night. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow with something else.
Oh, we're still streaming?
We're gonna play some PlayStation 2 something.